for him here in the top of the seventh.
What a luxury having a guy like Will Harris is, because it just allows A.J. Hinch and the Astros to take chances in using their non-prime relief corps, knowing that he's going to come out of the bullpen and clean up whatever's left behind.
Yeah, he's done a terrific job for them all season long. And you mentioned that's the first run he has given them. An inherited runner here in the postseason. Tanner Rainey back into action here. He'll start the seventh.
Rainey appearing in his third game of the series, and he'll get the pinch hitter Kyle Tucker to lead things off, then George Springer and Jose Altuve. Tucker's now pinch hit in 3 of the 4 games in the Fall Classic. By way of reminder, Tanner Rainey was a big part of a dramatically improved September bullpen for the Nationals. He did have a postseason hiccup, game 3 of the division series. He was a part of that collective bullpen hiccup, but again, their group steadied itself starting in early September, and that's maintained all the way through the postseason. Rainey's last 15 regular season appearances, just a 2.13 ERA and a 140 opponent's batting average.
Gave up a home run to George Springer in game 1 of this World Series, but they brought him right back the next game, getting back in there, and he delivered a very solid inning of work, just 12 pitches to retire the side in order in the 8th.
And there's ball 4. The leadoff hitter's aboard. Let's take you back to game 1 and the homer you mentioned that George Springer struck against Tanner Rainey.
Yeah, low fastball down out over the plate, and Springer, that would extend his personal home run streak to 5 straight World Series games.
Leadoff walk has Tucker aboard to start the inning. And the fastball moves Springer off the plate. The only other time that the Astros put their leadoff hitter aboard was when Correa walked in the 4th in front of Chirinos' 2-run homer. Fastball fouled away. Pretty much a 2-pitch guy. That's not to say that he's easy to hit. Fastball slider from Tanner Rainey.
Springer loves this atmosphere, doesn't he?
The homer note you mentioned, 6 homers in 41 career World Series at-bats. Homered in 5 straight World Series games. A new postseason record. Tucker with a conservative leadoff first. The 1-1 misses down and away. 2 balls and a strike. A 100-mile-an-hour pitch.
Yeah, that's how you can survive pitching out of the bullpen with 2 pitches. You throw 100 and you've got a hard slider. That's all you need. More often than not, he'll be limited to 1 inning of relief, and he can come in here and just blow that fastball for 3 outs.
The homer Springer hit against Rainey in game 1 came on a 99-mile-an-hour fastball. It came in at 99 and went out at 105. Two balls and a strike. Houston Astros trying to do something to the Washington Nationals that hadn't been done since the middle of September. and that's beat them in back-to-back games. Since losing 2 straight games to the Braves at home September 13th and 14th, the Nationals are on a 22-6 run. Fernando Rodney getting hot behind Rainey. The 3-1 topped up the line foul. He went right back to that 100-mile-an-hour heater.
Yeah, and we mentioned that he's a 2-pitch guy. As you see, Tucker going back to first. He's got some speed, but I applaud Dave Martinez for getting Rainey right back on the horse in game 2. I mean, they're going to have other guys pitch other than Hudson and Doolittle. And he has shown Rainey's got confidence in it.
Does he have the nerve to throw him a slider here?
Yeah. 3-2 slider. Take a shot with it. Tucker's going to be running in this situation.
Full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Tucker aboard via the base on balls. And after a couple check-ins, Rainey set. Tucker runs. Pitch is taken for ball 4.
Well, he threw him a fastball and missed with it inside. Gomes thought it was a good pitch. He didn't hesitate, threw a strong throw to second, but it's all for naught. Ball 4. Back-to-back walks. Rainey comes into this ball game. That looked like a pretty good pitch. Wow. That's why Gomes didn't hesitate and threw it to second.
Yeah.
He thought it was strike 3.
Here comes pitching coach Paul Menhart. Rodney gets hot in a hurry, and he's been up for a while. And now the trouble is, if you're a Nationals fan, you're thinking about holding this to a 3-run game. Look at who's about to step up. Altuve, Brantley, Bregman, the teeth of the Houston order. Each of those guys has a hit tonight. Brantley has a pair. And if you're A.J. Hinch, you're thinking we got him right where we want him.
Yeah, I think this is where you really got to make some quality pitches, and that's why Paul Menhart, the pitching coach, comes out, has a chat. Now he's asking the umpire where that last pitch was. So, boy, that looked like a pretty good pitch from my perspective. That's the end of that conversation as he gets back to the dugout. Home plate umpire James Hoare indicating it was just a mound visit. They used one of their mound visits now. Take a look at this last pitch, and that gets a lot of the inside corner. And that's why Gomes came out of the chute firing. He thought it was strike 3.
Trouble now in the form of Jose Altuve. Could very easily be sitting on a 3-for-3 night. Singled in the first, was robbed of extra base hits on a brilliant play by Rendon in the 3rd, and then tried to bunt home a run in the 4th.
With 2 outs, bunted it right back to the pitcher.
Tucker and Springer aboard via bases on balls. Nobody out here in the 7th. Fly ball out to shallow right field. Eaton with plenty of time and room. And that's a big first out. You almost expect a base hit every time Jose Altuve gets in there.
Well, you know, he gets a lot of base hits, that's for sure, and he doesn't swing very often without making good contact. They're going to make a pitching change right here. Here's a look at that pitch off the plate. He chased one off the plate and pops up to right field. You don't see him chase many pitches off the plate, but he pops up, and that's going to be it for Tanner Rainey. Back-to-back walks to start the inning, and you know what? He created his own problems by walking the pinch hitter and then walking George Springer. So he's got Brantley to deal with, who's very good at making contact. Michael Brantley already has 2 hits, and he lined out in his 3rd plate appearance. So they'll give him a little different look here.
Enter Fernando Rodney, a pitching change, and we'll be right back. Well, when Fernando Rodney got in the game last night, he became the oldest reliever to appear in a World Series game since Joe Niekro, who was 42 years old in 1987 when he pitched for the Twins in that year's Fall Classic. The oldest player in Major League Baseball this year will make his 2nd World Series outing tonight.
Really interesting. They made the move to Rodney here in this situation, given the fact Michael Brantley is the hitter. When you look at Brantley's numbers against Rodney, he is 6 for 13. Lifetime against Fernando Rodney, he's 2 for 2 so far tonight. He's had a great start to his World Series. This is a curious move. Last night, Rodney faced Brantley in the 6th inning and gave him the intentional walk, and then got Bregman to hit into a fielder's choice to end his outing.
Trying to clean up the mess left behind on the 2 walks to open the inning, and the first pitch to Brantley misses outside. And there are the numbers you speak of. 2 veterans. It's a big enough sample size to let you think that it is indeed curious.
Well, and especially because Rodney's a late inning relief pitcher, and each at bat's only going to be in one particular game, so that's a lot of at bats. There's that changeup he fouls back. You know, the Nationals bullpen has taken a lot of heat, but during their 8-game postseason winning streak, bullpen has been pretty good. A 138 earned run average and a 141 opponent's batting average. They have pitched well during that winning streak that came to an end last night.
Veteran of 17 seasons, 11 major league employers. And Brantley sends the ball back up the middle, a base hit. Tucker's being held at third. The bases are loaded with 1 away.
Seven for 14 for Michael Brantley. Boy, Robles got on that ball in a hurry, so they had to stop the runner at third. Now they still have a chance to get out of this inning. Bases loaded, 1 out. Michael Brantley's had a terrific run here in the World Series. Robles gets to it quickly, so they stop Tucker at third. Robles has 12 outfield assists during the regular season. He got a cannon for an arm.
You know who is salivating right now for this at bat is the guy digging in, Alex Bregman. If only because last night Rodney intentionally walked Brantley to get to Bregman, and it worked as Bregman grounded into a fielder's choice play to end an inning. And knowing Alex Bregman the way we do, his grinder personality, he hasn't stopped thinking about that.
Yeah, just the fact that they would walk the hitter ahead of him to get to him.
An MVP candidate. Well hit into left field, and that one is gone! He got him! You're going to pitch around somebody to get to me?
Sooner or later, Alex Bregman was going to show up. And he has busted this one wide open. That's why he's hitting in the cleanup spot. He cleaned things up with one swing of the bat.
You could almost smell that one coming. And here's Gurriel now. 8-1 Astros. Rain falling, Bregman grand slam, and it has appropriately dampened the spirits of the home faithful at Nationals Park.
'93 two-seamer down in his wheelhouse. And boy, you can see he's got great bat control, and that is right in the middle of the barrel. That's taken the life out of this ballpark, hasn't it? Walk, pop-up, single, home run. They got to the bullpen.
Again, it gets back to the really curious set of decisions made in how to approach the late innings with the Nationals bullpen. The Astros have seen a lot of Tanner Rainey, already his third outing, and a guy with a two-pitch mix. Yeah, he throws hard. A strike to Gurriel.
But he didn't give himself a chance. He walked the first two batters to start the inning. And all that is going to do is get you closer and closer to danger. Moving closer to Brantley and Bregman. And they both cashed in.
Full count. And the 3-2 misses to Gurriel.
Pitchers have to manage the lineup, and Rainey certainly didn't do a very good job of that.
You make a good point. I mean, you can sit here, and a lot of armchair quarterbacks would, you like to go and pick apart decisions. At the end of the day, the player has to execute.
Absolutely.
And
you got the number 9 hitter. It was a pinch hitter, Kyle Tucker. He walked him and then walked Springer. He was able to get Altuve to swing at a pitch off the plate.
How about the Coolio reaction for Yordan Alvarez? Was he watching the same swing?
The difference between Aledmys Diaz and Alvarez was dramatic, right?
Didn't react at all.
What's the big deal? I knew we were going to win this game.
The man thought it was foul. Ball and a strike to Carlos Correa. Watch this again.
Look at Aledmys Diaz on the left. To watch his reaction. Get up. Stay fair. Stay fair. Yes. And look at Alvarez. I knew it was fair. That's awesome.
1-1 the count to Carlos Correa. 8-1 Houston. And Yordan might find himself in the lineup tomorrow. It sounded like A.J. Hinch was kicking the tires on how to get his bat involved tomorrow as a starter. It's going to be a tricky thing to do.
I don't think he can do it because he's only played left field, and you're certainly not taking Michael Brantley out of this World Series. I think even though he probably had serious consideration of trying to get his bat in the lineup, I don't think you can mess with this lineup right now. I think Reddick will be back in right field. Springer will be in center, and Michael Brantley's going to stay in left.
Yeah. Game 1 starters tomorrow. Cole and Scherzer. In a series that appears almost certainly to be headed back to Houston.
Max Scherzer, and they have made a big deal about his eyes here in Washington.
Another base on balls. Correa's aboard.
He's walked 3 times this evening.
Rough week around here. The Redskins. I think every week's a rough week if you're a Redskins fan right now.
Yeah, but you remember the feeling around this ballpark prior to the start of Game 3. It was like, oh, well, we're going to win it here. We'll clinch things. And I don't think the Nationals players felt that way, but certainly the fan base felt like, hey, man, we beat their 2 best pitchers in games 1 and 2. We got them on the ropes.
Right.
Be careful when you get them on the ropes.
If this score holds, the road team moves to 4-0 in the World Series. Not many of us saw that coming. A ball and no strikes to count to Robinson Chirinos, who hit a 2-run homer of his own back in the 4th, and it's 2-0 now. You kind of wonder from the Washington bullpen perspective, do you just try to get through this with Rodney, even though he is clearly not very effective right now, to save everybody else?
No, I don't think you can do that. I think you've got to continue to play to keep it within reason. You can't just let him give up everything. They've got action in their bullpen. Looks like Suero's up again.
A bouncer to third, knocked down by Rendon. He gets 1 out of it. There are 2 away.
This series so far has featured a couple of crooked numbers late in the game. In Game 2, Nationals scored 6 runs in the 7th inning. Houston has put up 4 here in the 7th tonight.
Jake Marisnick is the 9th Astro to bat in the inning. About the series Bregman's in the midst of. I mean, some frustration, some real magical moments. All 3 of his hits have driven in runs. A 2-run homer, an RBI single, and a grand slam.
And that's the focus he has in those situations. You know, in a short series, it doesn't matter what your average is. It matters what kind of damage you do. And he has done some damage.
How many times does a pinch hitter who leads off an inning bat twice in that inning?
Not very often, and Kyle Tucker is on deck. He started things with a leadoff walk as a pinch hitter. Been that kind of inning for the Nationals.
Two balls and a strike to count to Jake Marisnick. 3-1 now. 4 walks this inning by Washington pitching. 2 by Rainey, 2 by Rodney.
6 in the game.
Three balls and a strike.
Seven.
And he's walked and loaded. Yeah, I don't think Dave Martinez can watch anymore. Would have loved to get through this by not burning another arm, but he's just forced to do that. And that'll be all for Fernando Rodney. So Kyle Tucker will have a second at bat in an inning in which he pinch hit to lead things off. And the call's gone out to Wander Suero. A pitching change, and we'll be right back. Like Artie Johnson and laughing.
Very interesting.
William Suero pitched the 9th inning in the game last night. Retired to side in order. Got Brantley, Bregman, and Gurriel in order, including striking out Yuli Gurriel. 3rd appearance of the postseason for Suero.
And he inherits quite a mess. Bases loaded with 4 runs in after the grand slam off the bat of Alex Bregman. Correa, Chirinos, and Marisnick aboard. Kyle Tucker began the inning by pinch hitting and drawing a walk that started things here in the 7th.
Suero almost threw that one back to the backstop. Holmes had the spirit before it got past him. Kyle Tucker batting for the 2nd time in this inning as a pinch hitter.
Bullpen had been the Nationals' Achilles heel for much of the regular season. They appeared to straighten out that group in September, and as we documented, they really were good to end the season collectively. Some of those old troubles haunt them tonight.
Yeah, they were great through that winning streak, 8 games, but that came to an end last night. But it wasn't the bullpen that gave up the runs in last night's game. Different case tonight.
I'm going to ask you this out loud, knowing that somebody's already looking into it. Has there ever been a World Series inning with 2 grand slams?
No.
Because that possibility does exist here.
Absolutely it does. I don't think there are too many situations where a pinch hitter in the World Series is hit twice in the same inning.
That's probably a safe assumption. Big swing and a miss, and it's 2-2.
Of course, there have been pinch hitters that have had more than one at bat. They stay in a ball game and get a pinch hit or get a base hit, maybe a bat later on in the game. But 2 at bats in the same inning.
The 2-2 pitch got him swinging. Not before the damage is done. 10 batters come to the plate, and on one mighty swing by Alex Bregman, a grand slam and a 7-run lead.